2 letters, 2 birds. 2 groups that should not have known where to find them. Someone did. They had waited 3 days for an answer. The door between worlds had received a message. The message had not been refused, but it had not been answered either. And silence, when it stretches across 3 days and 3 nights on a rooftop in Sol-vara, begins to feel like its own kind of verdict. The first day they had food brought up. They ate in shifts, watched in shifts, the rotation they had established without discussion. Tharok, then Valerie, then Kalister, then Lear, 6 hours each. The beacon burned above them exactly as it had burned the morning before the arrow was loosed. Exactly as it had burned for 300 years. Indifferent, patient, giving nothing away. Lear was certain. That certainty did not waver through the first day. By the second day, the certainty was the same, but he carried it more quietly. By the third day, he did not speak of it at all. The others did not press him. Some things are understood without being said. The city below moved through its days, markets opening, the slain manticore filling and emptying, children in the streets that had recently learned they were allowed to be children again. Sol-vara had not stopped healing simply because 4 people on its palace rooftop were waiting for something that had not yet come. Nothing answered. Nothing refused. On the 3rd evening, they came down from the roof. The decision was made without ceremony. 3 sovereigns remained. Velkaroth, the hate-monger, who had found them once and would find them again. 2 others whose domains lay somewhere in the meridian, still active, still wrong. Still the kind of territory that appeared on maps only as warnings. The armistice fragments were in the sealed case. The case was in Kalister's hands. The plan that had led them to Sol-vara had been completed. The knock had been sent. Now they waited for a different kind of answer. They would gather resources in the morning and begin again. The next sovereign domain would not come to them. The night was quiet. The slain manticore earned its keep. Warm food, clean rooms, the specific comfort of a place that had remembered its purpose. The quartet slept without difficulty. The sleep of people who had spent 3 days watching a light that gave nothing back and had made their peace with it. Morning came different. Not wrong, different. The city was louder than it had been the previous days. Not alarm, not panic, something else. The specific noise of a city that has received news it did not expect. A soldier of the silent Aberrant Company post was waiting at the inn's entrance. Not with urgency, with the particular posture of someone carrying a message he could not explain. Someone was at the gate asking for them. The elder's eyes were the same. Ancient moss, patient, the kind of eyes that had watched centuries pass without finding them worth rushing. He stood at Sol-vara's gate with 6 others at his back, all in armor grown from living wood and cloaks woven from shadows. The mark of the Watchers who had not walked openly in human settlements since the Great Betrayal. The quartet had last seen him at Aurelia's Rest, the morning after Malzareth fell, when he had spoken of research to be done and a decision to be made. The decision had been made. He did not speak immediately. He looked at each of them in turn, at Kalister, at Lyre, at Tharok, and then at Valerie. who had been his people's exile and had been sent away because she asked questions the elders did not want answered. He inclined his head toward her. Slightly. Enough. He said, "The archives had been opened, the truth had been found, and the elves had decided." The commotion at the gate came before he could say more. Not from within the city, from without. The sound of something large and deliberate landing outside Sol-vara's walls. The specific percussion of multiple heavy creatures setting down at once. The gate guards exchanged looks. The elder did not look away from the quartet. He already knew. The griffins were 12 in number, gray and gold, wings folded, breathing steam in the morning air. On their backs, 10 dwarves in armor that had not been made for ceremony. Practical, worn, the equipment of people who had traveled far and expected to travel further. And at the front, dismounting, a woman with a leather pouch on her belt and the unhurried confidence of someone who had once spent 4 days alone in the dark, listening to stone while an entire siege raged above her. Beside her, a man whose beard still carried the ash of a forge. He had not stopped working since the quartet left Iron Cove. Bianca Ironforge. Magnus Ironforge. No one had told them to be here. No one had told the elves to be here either. The quartet had not sent word to either. There had been no word to send, no certainty of where they would be or when. Callister looked at the elder, at Bianca, at Magnus. He asked how they had known. The answer was the same from all of them. A bird, white, young, the kind that did not exist in large numbers and did not travel without purpose. It had arrived at the Elven archives with a letter, no name on the outside, no seal, carrying a date, a place, and 2 requests. For the elves, bring your best scholars, your mages, and your books. For the dwarves, bring your best craftsmen. Magnus unfolded the letter from inside his coat. The paper was the same. The handwriting was the same. The ink had not faded. Neither he nor the elder had compared notes before arriving. They had simply come. The quartet stood at the gate of Sol-vara in the morning light and understood what they were looking at. Someone had sent for reinforcements. Someone who knew where they would be. Someone who had seen the arrow enter the beacon's glow and had drawn their own conclusions about what came next. The beacon burned above the city as it always burned. The silence had not been empty. It had been working. The archives are now closed.